Muy buenos días a todas. ¿Cómo están?
Good
Buenos
morning
días.
to you all. How are you?
Buenos días, Cindy.
Buenos
Good
días, ¿cómo
morning.
están?
Good morning.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Bueno, un saludo muy especial hoy en este viernes.
My most special greeting on this Friday. We're going to move forward on this research process. I want to wish you the best and with a lot of affection, I asked Elder Lorena to share a reflection before we go to our breakout rooms.
Con mucho gusto, Dunin. Buenos días a cada una de
With
ustedes.
all my pleasure, Dunan. Good morning to each and all of you.
Siempre.
Good morning to the energy that accompanies you. Good morning to each one of your families. Today, we're going to start this session by giving thanks because I feel like in all the territories, I hope in all the territories, the holy rain has arrived. It didn't come for this time, for now, with violence, but with calm. We think we're going to open our hands, all of us, and put them in front of our faces and thank the energy of the rain. Give it thanks, giving the energy of water thanks, sweet water to the mother, to the water mother, water daughter, and water child for their energy and their strength, for arriving to our territories and our lands, for wetting the land again and make the seeds reborn, for providing freshness to the milpas, the trees, the plants, for awakening the singing of the birds that wanted the rain. And we speak to the sacred water, sweet water and salty water. Thank you for being amongst us in our bodies and territories, in our communities, and in our families. Thank you once, twice, up to 4 times for your clarity, your fluidity, your transparency, your calm, and your strength. Today, I ask energy of water that you accompany us in this journey so that we can have the clarity, the calm, the wisdom, and the transparency, and the foresight, and so we can flow, so that in this process that is weaving from the wisdom of the peoples and women, that we can create this report, so that this report will have that fluidity of the water and the clarity of of our words and our feeling, thinking, and that clarity to build each one of us, to weave new cosmo knowledge from the knowledge of the peoples and the women. Thank you, sacred water. I hope that you're in front of us, behind us, from the left and to the right, bottom and top. And we ask to the generation of seeds and animals and plants and girls and boys, men and women, so that we can learn to enjoy, love, and respect and take care of water, and so that water guides, and that it could be our guide now that we're starting our own weaving of our case studies, so that we flow as water and we can have that ability to weave knowledge. Thank you 3 to 4 times. We hug ourselves with water 2 times, 3 and 4 times with water. We bow our heads to that energy and we awaken the energy of water in us so that we can flow in all that we have to do, that we can do it with happiness and fluidity and
transparencia.
wisdom and
Así sea,
transparency.
así es y hecho está. Vamos a
Let
hacer
let
4
it be.
respiraciones.
We're going to do 4 breathing
Entra
exercises.
el aire por la nariz y sale por la nariz.
The air
Entonces yo
comes in
digo,
through the
inhalamos,
nose and we inhale through and exhale through the nose.
exhalamos,
Inhale, exhale.
inhalamos,
Inhale,
exhalamos,
exhale.
inhalamos,
Inhale,
exhalamos,
exhale.
inhalamos,
Inhale,
exhalamos.
exhale.
Hacemos movimiento circular de izquierda a derecha.
We
de
do a
derecha a
circular
izquierda con la
movement from
cabeza
left to
4
right
veces. Una,
or from right to
dos,
left with our head 1, 2, 3, and up to 4 times.
4. De izquierda a derecha.
From left to
1,
right.
2, 3 y 4. Estiramos los hombros, los echamos para atrás. Una
We
vez,
stretch our
2 veces,
shoulders and put them back
3 y 4 veces. Hombros
4
para
times.
atrás, una vez,
Shoulders
2
back
veces, 3 y 4 veces. Hombros para
4 times.
adelante, una vez,
Shoulders forward 4
2
times.
veces, 3 y 4 veces. Cuando echamos para atrás los hombros,
When we put
sintamos
our
algo que
shoulders
queremos
back,
soltar y que nos
let's
puede
feel
estar
something that
bloqueando.
we want to let
Ahora que
go and
estamos
that
en el
could be
diseño, en
blocking
el
us
tejido
now that we are in the
nuestro informe
design and the weaving
preliminar.
of our
Si
preliminary
hay angustia, echamos
report.
para
If
atrás los
there's
hombros y la dejamos
any
ir.
kind of concern,
Si hay
we put our
tensión,
shoulders back and
echamos
we
para
let it
atrás
go.
los hombros y la
If there's
dejamos ir.
tension, we put our shoulders
Si hay
back and we let it go.
ansiedad,
There's
echamos para atrás
anxiety,
los hombros y
we
la
put our
dejamos ir.
shoulders back and we
Si
let it
tenemos
go.
miedo, si estamos
If we are
confusas en qué
scared, if
hacer,
we are
echamos
confused as to
para
how to
atrás los
start,
hombros y la
put our
dejamos ir.
shoulders back and let it
Y
go.
ahora para adelante vamos a pedir
And now moving forward, we're going to ask for clarity,
calma,
calm,
sabiduría,
wisdom,
entendimiento,
understanding,
fluidez,
fluid to
confianza,
flow,
que
and
nuestro sentir
confidence.
pensar capture el
That our
sentir
feeling
pensar de las
thinking
mujeres,
captured the
de las
feeling thinking
abuelas,
of
de
the
los
women,
abuelos, de la
of the
juventud,
grandmothers,
que
of the
nuestro
young
sentir pensar
people.
captó todo ese
That our feeling
esa
thinking
sabiduría
captured
que ordenamos
all that
nuestra
knowledge,
información, que empezamos
and that
a
we
hilar los
organized our
tejidos
information, and that
de
we
nuestro
started weaving
informe, partiendo de
our
los hechos que
report
vimos.
from
Una
the facts
pequeña
that we
introducción
saw.
a nuestros
A
párrafos.
small introduction.
Describimos los hechos identificados claves.
We described what happened with testimonies, with results from the focal groups that we made.
Y si podemos colocar una
And if we can
que nos evoque
have a
las
picture
expresiones que vimos,
that
que escuchamos,
evokes what we saw,
que
what we
vivimos,
did,
que
what we
sentimos.
listened to, and we
Y
lived,
luego pasamos a
and we
hacer
felt,
un
and then we
análisis
move
del por qué,
to make an
de las
analysis as to why the
efectos de lo
consequences
que
of the
vimos.
effects of what we saw.
Luego hacemos una
And then
reflexión
we
desde
do a
nosotras,
reflection from
construimos
ourselves and we
conocimientos
build cosmo
y luego
knowledge.
cerramos
And then
ese
we close
párrafo, ese análisis
that
que
paragraph,
hicimos.
that
Y
analysis
así
that we
vamos
made.
a ir
And
tejiendo
that's how we're
desde
going to
nuestro
weave
sentir pensar
from our
como
feeling
mujeres de
thinking
pueblos originarios,
as
en
women from originary
comunicación con el
peoples,
agua,
in
con
communication
la
with the
tierra,
water, with
con
the
el
land,
viento,
with
con
the
el
wind,
fuego, con el
with the
cosmos,
fire
y en
and the
continua y
cosmos,
cercana
and in
comunicación
continuous and
con las
complete and
abuelas y abuelos
close
que escuchamos,
communication
con
with the
los hombres y
grandparents
mujeres,
and the
con la
women and
juventud y la
men,
niñez,
with the young
con la
people
voz de
and
los ríos que
the
vimos que cada vez se
children,
estaban
with the
secando,
voice of the
con la
rivers
voz de
that
las
were drying
montañas que
out,
quizás han sido depredadas,
with the voice of the
y
mountains that might have been
seguimos
depleted,
uniendo
with
la
that
nuestra y nuestro
voice
sentir pensar,
coming
pedimos
together in our
sagrada agua
feeling
que podamos
thinking.
tejer,
We ask sacred water
crear
that we can
y
weave
generar nuevo cosmos y
and
vida
generate
desde la
new cosmo
sabiduría de las
knowledge
mujeres y los
from
pueblos.
the wisdom of
Así es,
women and
así será
peoples.
y hecho está. Abrimos los ojos,
Let
los
it be, so be
cerramos,
it. We open our
abrimos y
eyes
cerramos. Una
and we
vez,
open and close our eyes
2
1,
veces,
2, 3, and 4
3 y
times.
4 veces. Giramos los ojos para la izquierda
We
en
roll
círculo
our eyes to
sin
the
mover
left
la cabeza, solo los ojos.
without moving our head,
1,
just our eyes.
3,
1,
4.
2,
Para la
3,
derecha,
4. To
1,
the right,
2,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Muy bien, muchísimas gracias.
Thank you so
Pues
much.
que podamos fluir, que sigamos
And we
fluyendo.
hope that we can
Bienvenidas.
flow. Well,
No sé si Dunen tiene algo antes
I
de
don't
los
know if
grupos.
Dunen, you have something else to add before the group, or Teacher Angela has anything to add
No, no,
before
Mayora,
we
muchas
join the
gracias.
groups?
Profe Ángela, creo que
Yo una preguntita, sí,
Profe
muchas
Angela.
gracias por esa
Yes, I
harmonización
do.
tan
Thank
bonita.
you
Quería
for that
preguntarles
beautiful
si nos
harmonization. I wanted
volvemos a
to ask
encontrar
you
aquí,
if we
a
are
qué horas
going
o si,
to
o si nos
meet
despedimos
back again, or if
internamente en los
we
grupos.
say goodbye in the groups
sí,
at the end of the
la
session.
idea es que nos encontremos faltando 10 para
The idea
las
is that we
11
reconvene
hora
10 to
Guatemala
10 from
para cerrar
Guatemala
entre
time
todos. Muchas
to
gracias,
close
profe.
together. Thank you for the question.
Entonces le pedimos el favor a,
So we're going
Otis
to
San
ask
Javier si nos
the
ayuda
favor to
con
Otis and Javier to create the
para
breakout
inglés y
rooms,
para
please,
español. Mil
for
gracias.
English and Spanish. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
Hello, teacher.
How are you?
Hello,
Good evening.
Good evening.
hello, teacher. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, welcome to the last session of this week. Today we are going to listen the presentation. I think it's Anania, Fatima, Nai, and Nukila. Yes?
Hello,
Yes.
teacher.
Yes. Should I go first?
Of
Please,
course. Come.
please, I wish to go first. My phone is not having, we have a electricity problem. So I'll send my work to teacher Angela to help me and to put on the screen so I can do the first because my phone is not having enough battery.
Okay, Fatima.
Please. Yes, I've sent it on your WhatsApp.
Okay, if you want, you can go, Nai. And I
Okay.
will help Fatima after you. It is okay. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Teacher Angela,
Yes.
do you see anything?
No. Nania, do you see the screen?
Yes, do you see the screen?
No,
No.
not yet.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Okay. Sure.
Hi, Doman.
Sorry, I'm late.
Teacher Angela,
Yes.
I think so. I'll share with you in the WhatsApp
Okay, but I
because
don't.
I see I'm getting difficulties in sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Go.
just sharing now. You'll see it just in a minute. Can you see it? I've just already shared it to you.
I have the Fatima's document, but not yours.
Can you check again? Sorry. To me, it's showing that you have not opened it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And oh, yes.
Hello? Teacher Angela? Anyone can hear me or?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
hear
it
you.
seems she's busy trying to connect her phone with her laptop so she can project it.
Hi, Nai.
Hi. So you can hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
Nai. You can share your PPT in a chat so I can share your screen.
okay. Should I share with you through the chat?
Yeah, PPT.
Oh,
Yeah, in a chat. So I'll share your screen. Okay.
okay, sure.
Sorry, Nai, my internet is not the best today.
Oh, Teacher Angela?
Yes, I think it's okay now. Give me 1 second. I have a lot of problems today with no, I can't. Nai, I am so sorry. I have the document from the Fatima's document.
Yes,
Can we start with her document and after with you?
sure. Because even Naina was saying she can project. I shared in the chat, so it's okay. She can start and then I can later on get in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. This is the document, the Fatima's document. Fatima, are you here?
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Okay. Go on, Fatima.
Can I start?
Yes, of course.
All right, thank you. Just that the work is mixed up, but a long way. I'm going to rearrange everything. Thank you. The title of the project is Strategy to Increase Educational Opportunity for Young Bororo Girls in Cameroon. It is very important to address the issue as limited access to educational girls in Cameroon, restricting the future opportunity equality with community and investing in their education, the circle of poverty. Even though some few Bororo community and the society at large, culture play a dominant role with regard to the education of Bororo girls child in Cameroon. In summary, the majority factors that hamper the education Bororo girls discover the course of research are, please, can you scroll? In summary, research continuing schools. One married. This caused many parents to withdraw their children from school and send them out for marriage. Early and forced marriages are made to cut down sexual pursuit. In addition, priority is always given to the reproduction of children immediately. Women are married and automatically they are and going to school is not giving microconceptions that women are supposed to be confined, and it's a taboo to go against the will of the parents and some major. Please, can you scroll down? Hello.
Hello. It is okay?
All right. Yes, okay. Also, the aspect of religion microconception that women against the will of parents and some major hindrance that prevent girls and young wives from education. The most serious recovering and challenging factor is that poverty stricken within the Bororo community in Cameroon. Of means to pay for girl child education, prevent very promising and most talented girl child from going to school. And in most cases, the value of education is low in and face-to-face exchange down. and some selected community in Cameroon. Down, down, down. Some Bororo community in Southwest. It's okay. Yeah, let me just go to the introduction. Bororo semi-nomadic population scattered across Africa, face insignificant barrier to not only their individual potentialities. So initiative should individual education not only address rural women to advocate to their daughters' education, unlock a brighter future for both the girls themselves and Bororo culture. Despite their rich culture and significant limitation in accessing education, this educational disparity overall develop of Bororo community. To address this challenge, a multi-pronged strategy is needed, focusing on collaborating efforts between Bororo communities and cultural approach education model that resonate with Bororo tradition, tackle practice obstacles to champion the increasing educational opportunity for safe and the Bororo culture. In Cameroon, Bororo girls belong to a semi-nomadic patriotic community, face sustainable hurdle in housing and education. This educational gap not only restrict their individual potential, but also hinder the progress on Bororo community as a whole, especially in Buea and Douala Yassa, where the Bororo population dominate. To bridge this divide, a comprehensive strategy is require fostering collaboration between Bororo communities, government bodies, and NGOs. This initiative should patronize the development of cultural approach educational model that align with Bororo tradition. Additionally, it should address practically challenge that implement education such as forced marriages and encourage Bororo women to advocate for daughters' right to education. By implementing such strategies, we can create a path toward increasing educational opportunity for Bororo girls in Cameroon, empowering them and ensuring the cultural sustainability of the Bororo community. Thus, the subsequent section of this work presents the problem statement. Statement of the problem: Bororo girls in Cameroon as a semi-nomadic pastoralist community face significant barriers to accessing education. This limit access hinder the individual growth and development and restrict the overall progress of Bororo communities. Research suggests that cultural factors and practical challenges like early marriages and limited agency among Bororo women are all contributed to this educational display. Research problem: the following research questions were raised. The research question to address potential solution to improve access to education for Bororo girls in community. Specific research question: what are the challenges that hinder Bororo girls' education in Cameroon? What are the potential solutions to improve to education from Bororo? Main objective to analyze the factors hindering Bororo girls' access to education, identify opportunities. Specific objective to examine the factors that hinder Bororo girls' access to education in Cameroon, to analyze effective strategies that can improve educational opportunity on Bororo girls in Cameroon. Though I'm going to add the specific objective, scope, and define the following areas. Thematic scope. This study covers because it marks the strategy that increase the educational level of Bororo girls in Bororo community and entire society at large. Time scope. The study going to cover a period of 6 months because at this time, research could be giving clarity of this study and this submission material that will enable researchers go on with the research. This population consists mainly the Bororo girl who is resident with the southwest and littoral region of geographic. This study will be focused on southwest and littoral region of Cameroon, especially Buea and Douala. Educational opportunity for Bororo girls. Addressing existing barrier, cultural norms. Some Bororo community may patronize early marriage rule within the household over education. Education program address these norms. Demonstrating for families and communities distance and accessibility. Remote Bororo settlement may lack schools or safe transportation of building boarding school or providing scholarship.
Fatima? Fatima, can you hear me?
I'm so yeah, I'm my internet connection is not the best.
Okay. But I don't know.
Decision making education empowering Bororo girls to participate in decision making and hello?
No, because I am not hearing you, listening you very well. But perhaps it's me because my internet is not working. Toma, Naina, can you hear?
We're also getting
Yes.
problems. The internet
Yes?
is
Yeah,
giving
it's a
giving
problem.
Yeah, my internet
It's choppy.
Yes, because I can't hear Fatima. Hmm.
Me too.
Okay. I don't know how we can. Perhaps we can see the paper. Yes, because you have yes, perhaps that yes, because I don't know if everybody can hear you, but in my case I can't hear you. Naina, can you hear Fatima?
No, no, I didn't hear properly.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking just that the internet problem.
Okay.
Are you people getting me now?
Now it's okay. Just now.
Hello?
But
Just that I did not drop off my
because if you want, Fatima, we can check the document. Okay. For example, this is the chapter number 1. Okay, here we have the chapter number 1. Sorry.
Hello, are you people getting me?
Because we can't hear you when you
Hello?
are reading. I don't know how we can and I think
I'm sure the internet connection is not the best. That is why.
okay.
Hello?
Yes, but don't worry. I think we can we can, if I check the document, you here in page number, is this page number 11, you have the chapter 2, okay? You have the introduction of the chapter 2, some of the results, the two 2.1 title, Barriers to Education for Mororo Girls. You have the reference, okay? More reference here. You have a lot of reference. The concepts, contextual factors. The strategies. Theories. What do you think about, for example, this first chapter? Somebody want to do comments? Because for example, when I check the paper, you have a lot of authors and reference. It is interesting, but I can identify the intercultural methodologies and your materials, your datas. Okay, I think this is an important thing. No, but it's in the chapter 3, okay? The chapter 3, you have observations, you have interviews. Okay. You have here maps, okay? The population, target population, the sample and sample size, sample techniques, instruments of data collection. The methods, questionnaire, interview. Oh, here you have the results, okay? The pictures. The instrument, participant observation, the documents, administration of instruments, methods of data presentation, ethical consideration, chapter 4, central question. You have a lot of information, no? You have the data here. Okay. The data. Chapter 5, discussion of findings. The recommendations, the reference. Okay. And I understand. Well, it's a lot of work, no? What do you think? Nanya, Doman, what do you want to comment about the report? Well, we can read 40 pages here, but what do you think about the document? But Fatima, it's not here. She's not here. Daisy, do you want to comment?
Yes, thank you. So, okay, I'm glad she's done a good work. So my question was, because I do a research on almost same topic, and I have pictures of girls during my case study research and all that. So I was wondering if I should use them, or they're going to tell me they're not of age, like they're FPIC.
Yes, you can use it, of course, if you want. And perhaps it is important, as Fatima Fatima's document, to not only to put the pictures, but to analyze the pictures, okay? To describe why do you want to introduce the picture, okay? What do you want to show with the picture? It's important to establish a relation between the picture and your objectives and goals and your findings. Yes, it's not only as introducing the picture like aesthetic act, no? It's a political act. But of course you can use it. Okay, no, Fatima, but you have a very important work. I think if you want, I can read with more time. Now I think you have a lot of ideas, and you need to work in between the section, the chapters, no? To if you want, I can check the document, and perhaps as Lorena said the last time, do you remember? It is important for FIMI the intercultural dimension of your report, okay? Because it's okay, it's very nice, you have a lot of reference, but I don't know if you can work now about the voices of your allies. Okay, the voices, the Bororo conceptualization, etc. No, I think perhaps Lorena should emphasize in this challenge. Okay, but I don't know.
Hello.
Hello, Fatima.
I'm sorry, internet problem.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
going on and off.
Yes, but we can if you want, you can hear the comments of the participants, and I can read
All right.
okay. But
Yeah.
it's a
What
very
are their comments?
it's a very important document. Now I think you need to work in the connections between the sections, the chapters, and to how you can put this big document and report in some slides, PPT slides, okay? Because you need to think about, I think it's the 21, no, the 25. Yes, in terms of your presentation, in the 25 of
Okay, I
June.
should put the pages, it will be 25 pages.
Yes, but the 25, no. The 25 of June, you are a volunteer for the presentation, okay? And this
Yes.
day,
Yeah.
you will have only 15 minutes.
All right.
Okay,
All
and
right.
you need to prepare a PPT presentation. And it's a good exercise for you because you need to think to be focused in 20 minutes, in 15 minutes, you need to talk to be focused. Okay? But I don't know, perhaps
I use even a page and summarize.
Sorry?
I said if I'm going to summarize it, right? So to limit the time.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh,
And
yes. When I'm done with the document, then I'm going to do that. Because I'm
yes,
not yet done. I'm still writing.
yes, because you have, for example, I send you the guide. The guide is very simple. You have the front page, index, introduction, objectives and methodology applying the case study, acronyms, executive summary, context, conceptual framework, research findings, and incidents plan. Conclusion, recommendation, bibliography, annexes. You have all of this in your paper, Fatima. It's a good news.
Yeah.
I think
I don't understand, teacher.
yes, it's a very good news. Now you need to work in the connections between the first.
Yes, after everything, I'm going to after everything,
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay, and I want to emphasize it's important that you introduce the voices, the voices of the participants, okay? Intercultural concepts, because I remember
Hello.
Lorena told you in your case it was very important not to introduce an intercultural perspective. Okay, I don't know. Anania, do you want to do a comment?
Hello.
Yes, teacher.
Hello, Anania, go on. Anania?
Hello.
Anania? Because Anania, I don't see your microphone. Anania, can you hear me? No. Ah, yes, Anania. No. Well, I don't know if somebody else want to do a comment, to make a comment for Fatima's project. No, project, report. Ah, yes. Fatima, remember, it's not in future tense. You need to introduce present. Okay? because it's a final report. Daisy?
Thank you. I didn't get you that clear. I'm in the village and my internet is not that clear. So I wanted to understand when you said we introduce the voices. For example, like me, while I was in the field yesterday, I met with some of the girls and the women and I was recording them. So is that what you mean by voices or what do you mean? And I also have some videos when I was talking with them. Is that what you mean?
You can, for example, choose some of the, I don't know, the conversations, the dialogues, and you can transcribe. Yes, you need to write and to use quotations. Okay. You can I have an example here, Daisy. Give me one moment, please. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, here I am. Here is the introduction. I am writing about sexual education and pleasure after sexual violence in Colombia. Okay, my introduction using some reference, my questions or goals, some theoretical elements as Fatima's introducing her paper in her final report. Okay, in my case, I use peace studies and sexuality studies, reproductive and sexual violence related to armed conflict. Okay, the methodological perspective, and here I have my findings. Okay. For example, here I am explaining some findings in the context of a women's circle, okay, with 20 participants in January 2023 in Patijal. And I am explaining the methodology, the methodology, and here, yes, I want to introduce, for example, two testimonies of two of the participants, okay, from Wiwa people. You can use quotations here, yes, and you can introduce the words, the sentences, okay? During my childhood, and you can introduce here, for example, Women's Circle Patillal, Cesar, January 2021. Okay, this is an example. You can too, for example, introduce here. I introduce here some of the drawings, okay, and I explain here using quotations, no, why this this program of sexual violence prevention is important, for example, for the teacher of the community of Sabana de Joaquina. I use quotation. The most important thing is to visit the sagas and the mamos and take their advices. This is a second example, okay? you can use pictures. Yes, for example, this is a picture of the silent theatrical expression of the prevention of sexual violence route. Okay. And after you can introduce your analysis. Here I am explaining the drawing number 1 shows the facts of the rape indirectly talking about the state of drunkenness of the aggressor. Yes, you can explain. Here I think I use some of the body painting, okay, and I explain. Here I use other examples. This is an example, Daisy. If you have videos, for example, you can introduce the videos in the reference, and perhaps you can choose some of the sentence or the words, or if you are, I know you have a lot of songs, no? You can translate the words of the songs. You can describe. It is okay?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, somebody else want to share something about the report of Fatima? No? Okay. Well, now I think now we can continue with you.
Hello, teacher.
Hello.
Yeah, I have a nice slide. If she is going to present, I'll assist her to share.
Thank you. I think it's working now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, I can see.
Okay. Thank you. I am so sorry. It's not working very well. Yes. Go on, Nai.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. First of all, I just want to say thank you, teacher, for this, and also for Naina, because she was also ready to help. Actually, I have, I'm using a computer that I don't know how to use. Starting from the first slide, that is the topic of the research I'm doing, the unveiling the narrative of Indigenous women. I can't see it properly from my side, but I think so everyone can read the heading. Okay. Yes, the heading is the title is Unveiling the Narrative of the Indigenous Women facing land encroachment and eviction in Tanzania. And I'll be writing based on the categories there of the project. In my final reports, you will get the abstract that will be giving the highlights based on the heading previously, the executive summary. I will have the table of content, the structure of the thesis, where this structure of the thesis will be highlighting shortly on how the chapter will be, each chapter will be containing what. And then now we will have the chapters, the recommendation, and the conclusion. Next. Teacher Angela. Thank you. Today I'll be only sharing on the findings. I did not go beyond on other issues like the abstract, the executive summary, and the rest, but I'll be focusing on the finding based on what last week we were talking about. I started my findings specifically by checking on the land occupancies in Tanzania and how it is. And if you see there, land tenure system in Tanzania is categorized by historically from the pre-colonial period, the post-colonial period, where prior to the colonial to colonialism, how the land was. Before colonialism, we knew in my territory, what I work on, basically pastoralist indigenous people, we were owning land communally, and then later during the, hello? Yes, Fatuma? Teacher Angela, can I proceed?
Yes, let's go on, please.
But during the, as we know, Tanzania was colonized by two colonial power, the Germans and the British. By the time we were Tanganyika and then later on Tanzania. During the colonial time of the German and the British, all that applies came in, it required different individual to apply for land occupancy and certificates based on the German administration, which also continue during the British. And that's where a number of laws originate for the land laws in Tanzania, the Village Act, the Land Act, all that originate from the colonial perspective. Next. Down there, you can see the land right frameworks in Tanzania. I try to go through each in order to get the whole concept on how land is in Tanzania and how it is supposed to be an occupancy for anyone, regardless of the community that I was basing on. We have this main land laws and administrative and how it is managed as the framework that we have. We have the Land Act, as you see, the Land Act also, which was amended in 2004, sorry. We have the Land Acquisition Act, Land Registration Act, the Village Land Act, where the Village Land Act is the number 5, is the one mostly we are using. And this is one that gives the community that we live on, like the indigenous communities, the power of the communal land, the grazing land and others. We have also the village land rules, which are basically country planning act, which is more specifically for the town dwellers and urban areas, but we rely mostly in the Village Land Act and the village land rules. Okay, next. Some of the things that I was mentioning based on the occupancies and how different indigenous community, I was opportune to go to one of the village. It was not Ngorongoro, which was specifically I was supposed to, but I went to this community. These are the indigenous community known as Akie community. They live in Kiteto, one of the districts known as in a region, which is just close to the northern region. This community was able to get the certificate of occupancy of the indigenous communal land area. These are the hunters and gatherers communities. So I went specifically to get this in order to show and how this is applied. So they had the land use plan, and then they applied for the certificate, and this area now is there. So there are some of the law that basically, if they are followed well, they get this certificate of the occupancy. Further in our findings, we also grasp highly on how to see indigenous organization working on indigenous issues. Previously, from my first presentation that I did, I remember Teacher Angela and Teacher Lorena highly specifically try to give us some of the issues, say that you can also go beyond and see other organizations what they are doing and how they have been instantly working on issues of indigenous community based on the topic that you had. So I was able to speak with the director of Pastoralist Indigenous NGO Forum, Pingos Forum, where I work, and see how they have been doing specifically on issues of land and different intervention, and how I could relate with the topic I had. And that's how I was able to know more about the Akie land occupancy and how they have the certificate on that. Pingos Forum is an indigenous organization. It's a forum organization with more than 50 members organization. It works at the national level in Tanzania and works with the indigenous community, where the Maasai, the Hadzabe, Babaik, and the Akie community. It is specifically working on the human right aspect, but beyond, they highly work in different litigation on land right to indigenous community, since it is registration, basically to amplify the voices of the indigenous communities on the issues of land. But also I went to an indigenous women-led organization known as Pastoral Women Council, PWC. It's also led by an indigenous woman. They work at about 4 districts, Ngorongoro district, Longido, and Monduli. And they mainly focus on the issues of indigenous women, pastoral indigenous women, specifically on the issues of land ownership and other agenda, but I was specific on issues of land. And I was able to acquire some of the issues, including more than 50+ women who were able to obtain the right of occupancy on land, the CCRO, like the certificate we saw previously. Also, I was able to grasp more to another organization, the Ujamaa Community Resource Team. It's also an indigenous organization working at the northern Tanzania, specifically in Ngorongoro, Hanang, Kiteto, Simanjira, Monduli, and Longido district. And to be more broader, the UCRT team also work specific with 2 indigenous communities, the Maasai community and the Barbai community. So they have been highly working on issues focusing on land management by Intel working with the government by enabling the obtainance of the communal CCRO, and it helps the community like the Hadzabe in the Mongwanomono and the Akie community in Apilo Konya to attain this certificate for their communal land areas. Next, sorry. Also, in our findings in different interviews, we were able also to meet with indigenous women activists from the grassroots level. And we met about 4 to 5 or more indigenous women. We met with one of them she's known as Ndina Timan. I did not share the pictures here because I still have time to go and take few of the pictures and then you can see them. She is a former district councillor at Ngorongoro District Council for more than 10 years. She led different advocacy on land issues in our area, specifically to women owning land and she has still doing that to date. And she was one of the women that is highly been part of vocal at a different platform. Also, we had another woman that we interviewed and listened to her. She is Paulina Metu. She is also an Indigenous woman activist who started by enhancing education to young girls and even facilitating some of the girls, as she mentioned, more than 20 girls who are now teachers. We have one doctor and others. She's also among the Indigenous women who led a social movement on land advocacy by discarding the ruling party cards while they were seeking for the president, the fourth president of Tanzania, to listen to different claims that they were taking to him based on the Ngorongoro saga. And we have another woman also, we interviewed her. She's also from the same Ngorongoro district where my research is based on. She's a traditional woman, and she's also a traditional leader from the base of the community. And she has been also leading in land advocacy, mobilizing women, and she has been also in the front line. We have also another one known as Norkishili Naingesa. She's also an Indigenous woman from Lolosokwan village. It's also in Ngorongoro district. She even went further. She has been even representing Indigenous Maasai movement at the broader areas like the UPR. She has been also in the UN Permanent Forum. Despite her being only having to speak a vernacular language, she has been very vocal, and she has been part of women that I'd be highly advocating for the right of the Indigenous community, specifically in Ngorongoro, and even her fellow women on land ownership. Lastly, we have another one who is known as Sein. She's a young activist. She's currently a counselor, and she is still in the long run also in land advocacy. We have another one with Manda Ngotiko. She's the founder of the PwC that I mentioned previously. We talked to her also. And she also explained a number of work she has been doing basically on issues of land ownership, specifically to women. And despite different traditional practices, we were able to come up with a number of women who have been able to attain the land occupancy and being part of landowners through the PwC. Next, sorry. This picture I took myself while I was in the field, and I'm sorry because I did not put the explanation here as teacher was explaining previously also. This was the picture I took while I was in the field. I was just having some of the questions we were asking. All of them cannot write or read, but I gave them the notebook. And I wanted them to draw anything at the end of the day for the test of them concentrating on what we were doing. So I will give the explanation down. In most of my findings, I wanted highly to come up with a broader understanding of even a person outside my community to understand the traditional land use management, specifically in pastoral communities, because it's one of the key issues that is not more understood by many people outside the domain of these Indigenous communities. So one of the things I worked on when the finding was this one, and we have, I came to realize that the pastoral community land management is clustered more based on their Indigenous knowledge and livelihood system. And this is how we get how they have partitioned that land management system within their domain or their communal land or their areas. So we came to understand that they have the homestead where their permanent resident is. We have the homestead grazing areas. In the vernacular language, you call it Olokere or Lalili. We have the permanent sacred sites. We have seasonal grazing areas, Ronjoi, and we have the forest and water sources and others. And this is, when I say others, I came to know that we have also areas like the landscapes that for them, they can be used, but they can only be used when it is necessary. So I did not have a good language to say it there. Okay, next. For example, where I was mentioning the sacred sites, this is a picture of Emanyata. It's a place that we do it seasonally. It's a place that is located in a specific area, and it is there because of the traditional activity only for the young Moran who are either graduating from the Moranhood to elderhood, or from the young one who are preparing themselves to be Moran. So this is a sacred area for us. It is located in Luirin Magaidur ward in Ilmolelian, and it is a respected area. So this is one of the sites that is in that land management. Okay. I went also further to learn more on the pastoral indigenous calendar. And in the pastoral indigenous calendar, we actually, most of the indigenous communities, specifically the pastoral communities in Tanzania, most of them live in semi and arid areas, with the exception of few of them that I was working on them, who are not much. They are not occupying a big number or a big area. In the Loliondo division, who are mostly living in areas like the tropical, not that much, but kindly that. So in that regard, that they live in semi and arid areas, they have two main seasons of the year, the dry season and the wet season. And their main focus on the land management is based on those two seasons. And this has made most of us not to understand the indigenous pastoralist communities, because you can now be traveling to one of these pastoral communities area and you find a bare land, has no one is there, it's just there. But this land, in our eyes, is bare, but to the pastoral communities, it's not bare, because this land is preserved for the dry season for their consumption, for grazing. So this was also under their calendar, that they know at a certain month, this is the rainy season, we'll be using a certain area as the homestead grazing land, as I mentioned previously. But this temporary grazing land, the Ronjoi, which is in a certain site that is being allocated, will be used at that time, will stay bare. No one will be touching them until that time that they need to use it. So this transhumance is hard to understand, because it is based on their livelihood system that no one else understands. So the season has emerged into the livelihood system for each season, because each season has specific activity conducted per month, but not in the months like we know in June, the English one, the June, July, no. This will be their month as their livelihood system alive there. But also, this calendar, it further also cluster responsibility within their own domain, as the activity for women. For example, during the wet season, you find women have a huge responsibility, because we have fat cows, we have milk, we have everything is there. So they milk a lot, they have to find firewood because it is raining and also. But during the dry season, you find the young boys and the men have to move to the temporary grazing areas and leave the women with the weak animals or some of the sick animals to take care of them at home, and then they go there for these other animals, the livestock, I mean. So this also cluster that. Moreover, the calendar also is the tool for them to understand the weather forecast and climate change prediction. And this keep on only in pastoral community. That's why we see how they have specific and even the general knowledge pertaining the weather forecast and the climate change. Okay, next. This is the main season, the dry season. You can see it in the wet season, where the wet season is roughly 20%, and all that other season you can see is the dry season. And that's why they have clustered them. They have tried much to use their land in that modality to fit their situation during these two seasons. So I went also further to try to understand how this misunderstanding of the indigenous land use plan is. So according to the finding that we've been doing, we came to realize that there are new conservation models that are impacting the indigenous community, specifically the Ngorongoro and other areas, because of the ignoring of this of their management, but there are also illegal land encroachment and eviction for the benefit of the needs that a certain group need. But also during the data collection, the matter of land encroachment has been done in the communal grazing areas that are located to be used during the dry season, and also mainly focused to be protected during the wet season. And we have an example. I could not insert the map, but I will find in my report. We have a map showing a new game control area, which is dominantly known as the seasonal grazing area, but because of the unlawful just use or the government itself with its own ideas took the land. Now it is a game control area. And there is a number of implications that the community was sharing with us, that now the indigenous community are subjected into numerous impacts. We have insufficient grazing land. There are deaths that are happening because of the killings, of the rangers killing the people, confiscation of livestock, there are unlawful fines and other issues. There are separation of families, a number of issues going on because that was an area that was allocated to be used during the dry season. But currently, the livestock is found there. All those implications come out. Sorry, Teacher Angela. Okay. These three photos, the first photo I did not take, but the two photos that you can see here, I took myself. The first photo is the photo that I showed you previously. These are the indigenous livelihood system. This is a sacred site. Now they were staying there and all that. But the second photo, you can see there is a demolition that went through there. These are the indigenous communities, houses being demolished from this area. In this area, is very close to this, the first picture area, where the homestead is. Why? This area is being grabbed by other land users in the name of the conservation. But if you try to see, you can see that the beauty of this land, if it was not conserved, could not be this way. This is just their homestead. So I was showing how the indigenous livelihood is being transformed to a time that this woman is just looking to these are not firewood, these are the building materials of her house. she's nowhere now. She don't know where to go. She was just looking at what has happened, because the picture before her is the house, our mother's husband's house were demolished. Now she was just looking. She has nowhere to go, and she's been termed as a land grabber, while the one who is doing that is the one who is grabbing the land. I think so. It's understood. I'm not sure. Yeah. Next. Lastly, I think so. In the last room, I shared a story of a lady that was sharing with me on how she's now accessing land, but she was not comfortable for us to write. So I did not write well here, but Teacher Angela, you told me that I can write it like anonymously. So I came also to find I had another story, but I wrote it, but I forgot. We had two women. These women, despite a number of issues that they went through, still today, I can say they are role model of many, because they own land as women, first of all, despite the practices that we have as communities, that women cannot own anything. They're just subjected to certain issues. But they have, in my finding, I saw like they have portrayed a pivot example for many, and you'll see in my report. Here I will not have short words to explaining them. But what I can say, the first one is now owning a 40 acres land. She bought by her own money, and now she has 7 kids, no husband after the husband went. And the second one, she's having only 6 acres. She has 4 kids. The husband died, and she was chased away from the husband family. After toiling a lot, she's now owning land. And I was happy more about her because she have now even the land certificate of occupancy. So this shows that after them understanding, also they can own and take care of their families. Just to end, because this is my last slide, I had the real recommendation that I did not put here. And the first one is to understand the new versions of the conservation mode by the community itself, by portraying their own model, and the other researchers and other land users as conservers also to show and portray theirs, but to merge all this to enable a sustainable conservation, but also continue advocating on a different overlap of law and regulation, specifically in Tanzania, but also empowering and raising awareness to Indigenous women on land ownership. Those were my 3 recommendations that I had. Thank you, Teacher Angela.
Thank you, Nai. Excellent presentation. I don't know if somebody want to ask something to Nai. No?
I have one curiosity. Can I share?
Of course, go on.
Yeah. So if we write an abstract, can we write an executive summary as well? I think both are similar.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I saw in my paper. So she wrote both abstract and executive summary. So I'm quite confused.
Okay. Yes, sometimes, for example, for journals and yes, academical articles, you need to do an abstract. Okay, but it's the same. It's the same. The nomination is different, but it's the same. Yes.
Yeah.
You,
So
you
just
can,
we need to write one, either executive summary or abstract, right?
I think in the guide is summary. Yes. But
Thank you,
sometimes,
teacher.
for example, if you want to, I don't know, to send your article, yes, an article version of your final report, you need to do an abstract. But I think I checked the guide is summary. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, I don't know who wants to continue.
Maybe Teacher Angela.
Yeah.
So, because to me, I have both of them, so I should drop one, the abstract, and I will see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. Nice job, Nai.
Thank you.
No, thank you to you. Who wants to continue? I think Daisy, Doman, Nukila.
Can I start?
Of course, Nukila.
Okay, sorry.
Or perhaps we can go to the break.
I think
10
so.
minutes and we can. Yes.
Yes, I think so.
See you in 10 minutes. Bye. Hello. You want to start?
Yes, I think I would like to start.
Okay, thank you, Nikila.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. Well, let's start by slideshow. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, my friends. So I would like to start my presentation. I just want to let you know that I didn't make it in the right order yet, but I just want to share with you my research report regarding breaking the marginalization of land ownership for the indigenous sea women in the Rio Island amidst a culture of violence and patriarchy. So as you, will be in my chapters with executive summary and the objectives, methodology, like dialogue, interview, storytelling, one-on-one interview with the intercultural research, and then the findings, profile of indigenous sea women in the Rio Islands, and second, sociocultural, economic, and environmental factors contributing to the marginalization of indigenous sea women. And then three, prevalence of form of cultural violence experienced by indigenous sea women, and for legal framework and customary practice. 5, targeted intervention and policy recommendations. And the last one is a way forward that I would like to highlight in this research. So this I would like to show you. This is the one of Sarkimin. She is an indigenous sea woman. She lives on the canvas like this on the boat with the roof, traditional roof like this. We call it kajang in local language. And then this is the way that the sea people live on the sea. Yeah, on the sea. So they're on the clusters from one island to another islands in Rio Islands. And then my field study, field work. I visited during 1 May until 21 of May 2024, the location of the sea people Air Mas, Tanjung Sau Island, Nongsa Batam Island, Riau, Air Gelugi Village in Bintan, Coastal Rio Islands, Indonesia. So I will have introduction like this. I would like to explain about the sea people in Rio Islands, which come from four group like Mantang, Mapur, Baruk, and Galang. They live nomadic, particular by small boat, as I show you the in the picture, or canoe, and only occasionally stop on the islands in the end of 1990s. And then the government intervene and push them, the sea people, to settle by setting up temporary homes on small islands. What about the sea women? The sea women are facing burden challenge, discriminations, stigma, and patriarchy. At the same time, they also facing lack of recognition to own land, use the sea as livelihood, and impacts of the industry and development to their environment, land, sea, social, economic, and cultural life. So this my picture with the indigenous indigenous people, yeah, the sea woman in the Air Mas Rio Islands. I conducted like this is on the groups. Sometimes they prefer talking on the group. Sometimes they people talking one on one. So this is my approach, how to approach them. Introduce myself, and then to make the situation are fluid. So this is the way one of the picture that I would like to show you in this occasion. And then the story. I will like to highlight about the story, but because the story is important, yeah. I started with when I arrived there at their village, wooden house there, because their house are made from wooden, can be seen lined up along the coast of Tanjung Sau Islands. The attention of the women and children of the Sea tribe or Sea people who inhabit the island was focused on the speedboat that arrived carrying me on that afternoon. So 2 women in the Armas Sea tribe village were seen sitting on the porch, their gaze blank. Although occasionally you can hear them communicating in their own language. From the look of their faces, it seemed to clearly illustrate the challenge faced by this society. One of the women, Nurliana, 41 years old, said there are still many child marriage occurring in the Sea people. Our children are less interested in education. They said like that. Nurliana, 41 years old, even though transportation facilities such as canoes or boat have been provided. And Bunga, 40 years old, who was involved in the discussion, also revealed that there are still women in this area who are illiterate. They cannot read, they cannot write. So that makes them cannot read, for instance, the contract or any important document come from the government or from the businesses. And then Nurliana responded. They said even though aid or like rice or a boat or any other aid from the government, it was only enough to survive. She said like that. She said, we wanted to go back to the sea to update our boat and make more beautiful with an awning. We also hope that ships around our island will pay more attention to the sea cleanness. She said like that, yeah. And then Bunga emphasized the hope of all mothers and the sea people regarding the presence of the government to provide support for the basic needs needed by the people here. And then Farah, 45 years old, the wife of one of the chief of the Sea people on Dare Island, she still said about the half-hearted government program that landed them and settled them on one of the islands. Farah stated bluntly, even though there are positive sides to living on the coast, on the land, we are very worried about because our land doesn't have a title. We are afraid that we will be affected at any time, like that what happened to the Rempang coastal communities who don't have land documents. She also very concerned about the large number of extractive industries on the islands around their areas. The water become murky and fish have died from poisoning. What ironic is that if we protest, we will be the ones imprisoned. They are worried that the native language of the Sea tribe will disappear. And then Farah admitted that she and her husband feel responsible for the next generation. We carry out a tradition of spearing fish using sembiang. This sembiang is like a tool, yeah, to catch shark and observing the stars in the sky to predict bad weather. And also there is an issue of education and child marriage is also a problem in the Dare Island of the Sea people. Many children marry young because they drop out of the school and the distance between the school is so far. And then in the past, they said there was a tradition of making awning from palm leaves to cover the canoes. There's the tradition of exchanging a pig for rice, for daily food, but everything is gone. After Anyut, this is the older woman in this island, where after Anyut and her husband were moved ashore, they faced new challenge. When they arrived on land, Anyut was shocked to find that they had been given a house without a land certificate after decades. We used to live on the sea. Now we have to learn to live on land without having a land certificate, she said that. Their life changed drastically without the habit of going to the sea. They are hampered because their canoes become rotten and cannot be replaced. And then this is also many complaints regarding what from the 70 years old Iya, an elder woman, the Argulugi. She always remember how beautiful her childhood on the sea. When she was 14 years old, she was considered a girl, and then she loved to play on the boat. Every night I miss the smell of the sea that raised me, she said like that, with a bitter smile. Even though her life is difficult, Mrs. Iya loved the sea. She used traditional methods such as simple spear to catch the fish. And then I would like to show you, this is the way that I asked them to draw what they really like. Mrs. Pagi shows her drawing of boat. So she loved the boat. She missed the boat. That made her really proud of us, the sea people. I hope you can see the the picture that she drew during my visit in the sea village. And then this is Mrs. Mani, born in 1927, shows the kajang, the boat roof that she made to decorate the boat that she has. And then this is my recommendation. I would like to explain about recommendation. One is it needs recognition of the identity of these people is very important. The number of those who still maintain the tradition as these people can now be counted. The small numbers on the finger of one hand. We can count it, yeah, who still maintain the tradition. If there are no concrete steps to support them, we will lose another local language, indigenous language and cultures, as well as valuable knowledge about the sea. And then a comprehensive and multi-sector approach is needed to overcome the various problems faced by women in sea people or sea tribes. For instance, it's not cannot only be tackled by only Ministry of the Domestic Affairs, for instance, or the Ministry of the Women Empowerment, or the National Commission on Women's Rights, but it needs all relevant ministry and also CSOs, the Indigenous people organization, to work hand in hand to help these sea people. Yeah? And three, starting from access to health, education, and assisted equipment for elderly women and those with disabilities is very important. Access to schools that are far from their home, in one hand, of the main challenge that need to be addressed immediately. And then policies that are gender sensitive and supported by gender-based data are very necessary. This will enable the government to make appropriate intervention for the women of the sea people. Particular attention to gender sensitive data development effort will fail to achieve a sustainable development. Yeah, I emphasize that continued neglect will be detrimental to the government itself and make them will be left behind and make them very difficult to achieve commitment in the sustainable development goals as they're committed by 2030. I think that's all my presentation for this moment. Thank you so much for your attention. I'll back to Angela. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nutila. So interesting and so important to hear, to listen the voices, no, of your alliance. So beautiful and touching, and I think how you introduce the pictures and the voices, no? It's the drawings is very, very powerful. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if somebody want to do a comment. to ask a question.
Yeah, may I?
Of course.
Yes. Yeah, very interesting topic, really. All the while I've been thinking, discussions on indigenous peoples have been dominantly land-based, and now we're hearing about sea-based indigenous peoples. So, and there's also talk about rising water levels. So I'm really curious and very interested with how the study comes out, like especially on the knowledge and wisdom of sea people. I mean, it's really important to look into this because mm, I don't know if the planet continues to warm up, then many of the modern technologies could break down, and we also resort to the wisdom of the sea people. Yeah, and also very interesting because I think most of Southeast Asia will be affected, including Bangladesh. I think and we also have narratives of that most of the people in Southeast Asia are actually sailors. So while we have been living on land, I
Right.
think we still have the memory about the seas.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited to learn more from this study. Thank you, Nukila.
Thank you, Florence. Yeah, I would like to highlight, but yeah, I glad also when Florence reminded regarding we are from the sailor. There is some many when I was a child, yeah. My mother always remind me about our heritage. Our great grandmother is from the sailor. So the indigenous, yeah, I like to highlight, but that indigenous is not about the land, but also about the sea. I think, yeah, I agree with that. And then the issue is also about the climate change, the issue of the how the abrasion, yeah, on the sea, and also about the how they also but it was how they survive during the storm. Yeah, the storm on the sea is different with the land. So I think it's very interesting when I found many issues regarding what they challenge. One day I said, "Are you not afraid with the wave or with the storm on the sea?" No, they said we learn from the stars, yeah, on the sky. We know about when the storm is coming. They know also about when this is a good time for fishing, for instance, like that. That I learned from a lot from them. It's very valuable experience also. It's very touchable. Yeah, I'm so touching with the way that every single sea people who live in different island, they have their own language. That then they can recognize this from this island. These people are from the dialect is from this island. So it's very enrich also the findings regarding how they also have also the letter they like a symbol something like that. It's very interesting as well, learning that how we have to preserve this indigenous language, yeah, indigenous letter, and then if there is no next generation speaking in this language, I don't know how will we miss this indigenous language in the future as well. But thank you, Florence, about your comment regarding this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nukila. Excellent. Okay, I don't know who want to continue. Doman, Daisy.
I'm ready to present. Can
Okay,
I share
thank you.
screen now? Yeah. Sorry. Wait. Okay. Yeah. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. It's draft version 1. So please, your comments and feedback and questions are most welcome. I could overhaul. It's this is in the local language, Ag-agong di kababaihan, Patpatayan, women around the sacred tree grove. It's a case study in the exercise of Indigenous women on the rights to effective participation in political and public life. So the problem is there is limited participation of Indigenous women in political and public life in the local, regional, and global scene. That women's voice and women's perspectives in bringing about change, especially in areas of continuing land degradation, increasing cases of gender-based violence, and the subjugation of still needs a lot of work. I use this image. This is actually me. An image of a flute player who resorted to flute playing once again. Because of as it says here, the subjugation of women perspectives, the silencing of voices of women human rights defenders, while the problem actually is getting worse. So I resorted to playing the bamboo nose flute, an indigenous instrument, to create spaces for listening, to create silence, and encourage. This was amidst the killing of human rights defenders and activists, actually. So there was a lot of wailing, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of crying and grieving. That the situation is becoming overwhelming, putting people into silence. But then there are ways of speaking up. Even the silence could speak up. So that's when I picked up the indigenous music of the flute, asserting the sacred breath music and the sacred life of each one. So it was a kind of an alternative cultural spiritual way of talking about of asserting the human rights, not only of the victims but also of the survivors, as well as reminding the perpetrators of human rights violations that they're actually desecrating the very sacredness of life that they also hold. So yeah, that was a creative continuance of the advocacy and assertion for human rights in times when speaking about human rights would literally endanger your life or one's life. So that's the situation that is part of the context of why we need to empower as well as highlight women's voices again at this point in time. And partly also it's there's been many gains, including the formulation of all the conventions and declarations and mechanisms to speak about women's rights, human rights, and people's rights, and even today it's nature rights. So in the Philippines, I think we do not fall short of legal basis, or policies. We have the Philippines is very active in the international scene, formulation of all these policies. Unfortunately, in the law, it needs to be manifested in the local scene as well. So the study aims to reclaim the respect to Indigenous women's rights to effective participation in political and public life. Yeah, many instances it has been disrespected, perhaps out of ignorance or out of sheer arrogance and the culture of patriarchy and uh, yeah, culture of violence that's been overtaking women's voices and voices for peace and harmony. So there's a lot of chaos. And I think key to restoring balance and harmony again is to reclaim that respect for Indigenous women's rights, to be part of public life and social life and political life. Second objective is to activate local women's circles for leadership formation and effective participation. Women are now, community women are realizing the need to reactivate the circles. We've been very active, like I was hearing Naina, you know, we like the communities, so like other Indigenous communities, women had been very active, very assertive, and very articulate until such time that the voices have been suppressed and subjugated and fragmented. So we need to empower the women and consolidate the participation in order to be effective and to be heard. And then we also need to clarify, re-articulate, and formulate local Indigenous women's agenda in development planning and decision making. So the study itself is a process of activating and convening and restoring confidence to women leaders, even encouraging women leaders to identify themselves as women leaders who can actually influence political and public life. So the main research question is what are the challenges and potentials of Indigenous women in the exercise of the right to effective participation. First, we would like to agree on we'd like to agree or level off on the indicators of what we perceive as effective participation in political and public life. There are already realizations that being elected into public office is not an automatic guarantee that we are effectively representing women's perspectives, voices, and aspirations. Because there are observations that especially if it's only one woman in a circle of 10 women, 10 with 10 other men who are very patriarchic, and especially if the woman also holds the view that women are inferior, then it's really ineffective participation. Unfortunately, yeah, it does not give justice to the representation of women. But it's not the fault of individual women who get elected as minority. So there are also examples of women, few they may be, but they have been effective voices and representatives of women perspectives and aspirations. So another question is to clarify the barriers, to articulate the barriers and identify the barriers and challenges that limit Indigenous women to participate effectively in development planning and decision making. Again, very vocal women, having women who are very vocal and very assertive does not necessarily mean we are already effective negatively influencing development planning, especially when there is lack of clarity, then yeah, we could just be we may be women faces and voices, but we do not really address the challenges because we ourselves remain confused. We ourselves remain satisfied with small spaces or small positions of power where we show faces of women. Unfortunately, that's not automatically, again, an indicator of effective participation. So we would like to clarify whether the presence of women we actually would like to evaluate whether the presence of women in positions of power is effective. So we would like to listen to stories of women who got elected, women who got into positions of power, and we would like to learn from the limitations as well as the struggles that they have encountered, so that that could inform the next steps. And we'd also like to appreciate the strengths and inspiration of Indigenous women engaged in political and public life. The challenges and barriers, there are many, but sometimes the voice of strength and inspiration is overwhelmed. But when realized and appreciated, it actually uplifts the spirit of the women. It changes the dynamics and the mood and the energy even in the conversations. So we're very mindful to, much as we name the problem, we clarify the barriers, we are very mindful to look into our inner strengths and individual strengths and collective strengths and capacities. Even strong women tend to forget their own strengths and their own capacities, especially when overwhelmed with challenges. So it's we'd like to highlight that in a collective process and in this research. And also, we would like to clarify strategies, how to further capacitate women leaders, especially in healing and peace building. There's a lot of pain and suffering and frustrations. So we would like to consciously also engage, use research as a healing and peace building initiative by clarifying, creating platforms and rooms and spaces for understanding. So I was not able to identify or to write here the previous works and related literature. There's a lot. John's. So we understand women have been the women's movement has also gone and done a lot of work. But for this case study, we're employing intercultural research with Indigenous research paradigm, which means we would like to use this study to advance, to join the advancement of the agenda for decolonization by capacitating the women to collectively articulate knowledge, experience, and insights drawn from their territory, meaning local experience, history, rights, and aspirations. So I guess we all share this. Methodologies. Ag-agong is in English roughly translated as purposive conversations. So this could be individual interviews, focus group discussions, or storytelling. And then also combining it with embodied experiences, weaving of sugarcane leaves for the tupig ceremonial food. This one is tupig. It's prepared, it's rice prepared during a ceremony. We just had a big ceremony last week, which I participated in. And this one is rice wine. So it's when I asked some women if we could prepare this food, they said some expressed reservation that it's only prepared, specifically prepared for the actual ceremony. So we might not be able to actually cook the food, but we will be weaving and remembering, we'll be using the process to remember the meaning and the values and the philosophies of making this, because now sometimes we've been doing it for years, that the meanings seem to have been maybe embedded already as but the there's tendency to forget the deeper meanings and to connect it with the role of women, the significance of women voices. So we'd like to use this and view it with the lens of the rights of women to political participation and to political and public life. Yeah, participation in political and public life. Because it's the women who prepare this actually. And it's the women who prepare the rice wine as well. And then we'll use, so I'm still learning body mapping. We'll use body mapping to identify the barriers and challenges. Also to using body mapping, I think would also highlight that the barriers and challenges actually are embodied by women, or yeah, it reflects, no, it's called somatic somatization. We feel it in our bodies, when there's a lot of cases of rising cancer of the uterus, breast cancer, what else? Many hormonal imbalances. And there are also schools of thoughts saying that these are actually embodied stress absorbed by women, embodied frustrations, and embodied stuck up energy. So, but again, we focus on the discussion of effective participation to political and public life. So we haven't done this workshops yet. I just started the interviews, so it's really interesting to see how it manifests in this way. Other methodologies, bamboo nose flute playing. I learned how to play the bamboo nose flute from my brother, who learned it from my grandmother. Unfortunately, there are violent incidents, traumatic incidents in the history of the community that led to the diminishing of the flute playing tradition, which originally was used for relaxation, for expression of love, for joy, as well as for expression of emotions, and also communing with the self and the spirit within, as well as the spirit outside. So we're advocating for the reactivation of this healing music and loving music as well. So we will be having the workshop to create bamboo music instruments. And I think the team, the women who are participating here might also perform in a big regional event in July outside of the community. So we take this as an opportunity to activate this cultural circle of women, and also to appreciate the use of cultural symbols, cultural music, to communicate and assert women's right to effective participation in political and public life. And then we'll also walk to the sacred tree grove. nowadays it's only the men who go up and perform the ritual around this tree grove. But we also asked if it's possible for the women to go up there. We're not going to perform the rituals. I mean, but at least we walk, we sense, we connect with the tree, we sit there and get a feel of how it feels, what men feel also when they go up there, how it feels to be under the sacred tree grove, under a tree that's more than 100-year-old, and we try to remember stories related to this tree, to the guardian spirit that is believed to dwell in this tree. So that we don't know, because in other places there are stories that uh there are visions of old women dancing around this tree. No, it's not only men. And yeah, we don't know if the guardian spirit is male or female. I think it's kind of androgyne. Yeah. So that one again is another embodied experience with the tree as a symbol of the earth, with the deep roots. And then we close the research with community feedback and presentation of research results, affirmation through an affirmative ceremony, and we'll partake of the rice wine and also some indigenous food. So that's the methodology. It will be actually mark the beginning of the next phase. It's not a closure of the whole research. That's actually just an affirmation that will be moving forward to the phase after the case study. So some of the findings of the initial interviews I've conducted, as I mentioned, the questions, there were basically we level off on indicators of effective participation, and then we identify the barriers and challenges. So this would be chapter 1. So among the barriers is the limited education and information on women's rights to effective participation to political and public life. So its articulation of this right is fairly recent. So the one of the first women who was elected as village chief actually said, "I did not know that there were policies or there were declarations or conventions," and she did not even hear about the Magna Carta of women when she got elected. But she was qualified, or other women, she was actually encouraged by other women to run because they saw her potential to speak up and voice out women's concerns. But then she also realized she had to learn a lot, because along the course of her leadership, she faltered in her confidence, thinking that she's only a high school graduate without training in politics. She only had the courage to speak up and to bring out the concerns of women. So in the end, she has been criticized, and she felt like she became very ugly with all the criticisms. So she expressed some frustrations. So I think this the focus group discussion also would be an opportunity to process some of the criticisms and the challenges and the frustrations that she has experienced, and eventually transform this into lessons that should not discourage, but actually encourage other women leaders to emerge. Also among the barriers is the cultural shift in concepts and relationships and expectations, with women and wives being inferior. Yeah. So yeah, this was actually identified by another woman leader out of frustration again, said, hey, or she actually expressed frustration on me being so curious when the shift happened, because then she clarified that our indigenous traditional culture, actually men and women complemented and collaborated each other, not not as competitive not as competitors, but actually as equal partners. While there are specific tasks done by men and women, there are actually moments where they literally complemented. Like during childbirth, the man would uh compensate or would do the roles that women do, like fetching water, cooking, harvesting, taking care of the children. And even the man's father would sometimes compensate for providing and protecting the new family. So but these practices are being forgotten, and the there has been a shift, no? um and the new religion brought in by the Western colonial or especially American Christian missionaries had a great impact in the shifting of roles and uh, shifting of perceptions of what a woman's role should be in the community as well as in the family. So another barrier identified is the displacement of women's spaces and primary roles in traditional agriculture systems. As the economy shifts to more capitalistic and cash-driven dynamics, such as in commercial vegetable farming and mass tourism. Commercial vegetable farming has become a source of income, a major source of income. And when we talk of major source of income with men uh, as more the dominant income earner, so vegetable farming is more male dominated. And even mass tourism, so the value for the traditional livelihood has diminished, where these rituals and who are women actually are highly regarded and respected. No. Yeah. So this again, this one is a ceremony that celebrates the agricultural cycle. So these are women carrying the ceremonial food that I've shown earlier, the rice wine and the rice in woven sugarcane leaves to be offered in the ceremonial in the ritual. Yeah. Oh, more barriers. My goodness. Lack of established political machinery, including financial resources to gain elective positions. So elections is a Euro-Western practice. And unfortunately, it requires huge financial resources and networks to be able to gain an elective position. But again, there are women, especially in the national scene, that have gained access to political positions through alternative ways. So it's not only through financial resources or political families that women uh, get elected, and that's also one of the reasons why this research is being undertaken, to highlight or to affirm that it's not only through the traditional ways of gaining power by patronage and even mm, yeah, basically patronage and use and vote buying to be able to get elected. With all those barriers, we look into the strengths and inspirations, more of an affirmation of the women's strength and power also. inner as well, individual as well as collective power. So yeah, women are recognized traditionally. Women are recognized for their close connection and interaction with the land as source of knowledge that inform decision making on concerns on food and nourishment. So there are structures, there are traditional structures. Unfortunately, as I said, the spaces and structures for women have been displaced. So it's more men who are visible now. But traditionally, even if it's men who are visible, the consultation and collaboration with women has been very strong because the men recognize the women's wisdom and knowledge. So they consult in, especially within the homes, especially on food security and children. So while the men complement women's roles, they also have very high regard for the women's nurturing role in for the children. Another source of strength, there are stories, there are experiences and narratives where women rose up to, and these are recent, to stop the abuse and exploitation of girls, as well as to express women's indignation against the violations. So despite weakening women's collective voices, uh, there seems to be moments uh, when the spirit of the land emerges in the collective action and voices of women to confront community problems and crises. Otherwise, it would lead to escalation of tensions and violence when it's the men or it's anger that prevails, and men take action by expressing by more violent actions. So women have to act to balance that kind of energy of to balance the energy of aggression. Another source of strength, there are also stories where women rose up to again to diffuse tension brought about by armed conflict. So there are community stories when instead of the men negotiating with the rebels who captured uniformed personnel or security forces and threatened to execute them, it's the women who rise up and say, "Hey, killing does not solve the problem. I mean, yeah, bloodshed does not solve the problem." So they asserted dialogue and asserted the release of prisoners of war, and also asserted demilitarization of the town, which led to the declaration of the town as a peace zone. So these are precious stories that we would like to be remembered, as well as to be codified, documented as part of the research. Because previously it has been documented by journalists, but as a story narrated by the people, owned by the people, uh, uh, I think we need to do that, and also to uh, to relate the stories from the perspectives of women who participated in these efforts. Um, in the past, mostly it's the men who appeared and spoke with the media, narrated the story. But this time, we would like the women's voice to to shine. So yeah. So yeah. And also remembering ancestral stories. There may be few women in what has been written, few women leaders about our ancestral women leaders, but I think it's also because of the perspective of the writers and the authors. But there are women leaders who could be featured and who could be remembered, just like this woman. The face alone, um, she exudes strength and silent wisdom. So on this, there are ceremonies. The leadership of women, even if it's the men who actually are ritual performers, the women play a role by just the presence also balances. And sometimes the men would actually consult the women to be affirmed or to clarify decisions before they participate in a wider and collective discourses. And these are old photos that also show, see, the women here exude as much confidence as the men uh, in the community. So it's actually more egalitarian. So we'd like to remember those qualities, those dynamics and relationships. Before the women were made to believe that they were inferior than the men. Before the women were made to believe that speaking in public uh, assertively puts your husband down. So, and then chapter 3 is the visions and action plans for women leaders formation. So yeah, so we're not going to walk to that sacred grove, but also uh activate the commitment and imagination of the actions to actually conserve that tree. Because if it's not appreciated, then people will not be bothered to conserve and appreciate. And then also draw strength from the tree, wisdom from the tree to encourage leadership. And then we hope to formulate, at least while we do this research, we hope to formulate a local Indigenous women's policy agenda that we will be bringing to the local legislative body, and then also to be sharing it with others. So we're actually piloting. And of course, networking and partnership building locally and nationally and globally. And it's also happening now with this course and with this research. So yeah, that's as far as I've gone through. And the recommendations, I'm using an image here. It was actually a creative mural out of paper doves. It's calling for it's advocating to stop the violence against children. It's actually this is a mother and child image. These were all paper doves created by women and children, uh, triggered by the incidents of maltreatment of a 12-year-old child. So there were mixed perceptions about about labeling it as violence against children, but so we had to find creative ways to first to express for the children and women to express their indignation and condemnation on the violence, but at the same time to find ways uh, to speak up, even when the male elders actually tried to stop the campaign because they thought it will create division and disturb the harmony. So it's really an indication of uh, confusion and also sacrifice of women and children, uh, just to keep the harmony and peace within communities. So those are these are part of the context of the research. So conclusions again, we'd like to make use of this research again to empower women's voices. So that's it, I think. So thank you very much. Thank you. Sorry, it's long presentation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Doman. So healing. So it's a healing research project and presentation. I think it's really I understand now better your perspective, no, to emphasize in healing, because as in Colombia, we are so obsessed by violence, and it's really important to think about a healing process and agency, no, and hope. Yes, thank you very much, Doman.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think we need to go to the big group now, but I don't know. I don't know how. Perhaps
Ahí
Fran.
donde dice breakout room, donde dice breakout room, donde están los 4 cuadritos, ahí se regresa a exchange.
Leave room, no?
Yeah, you can leave room. That's it. Just
Yeah.
put the red button and leave room, or
Oh,
just go back to the chain.
okay.
Yeah.
Solo necesito que Otis nos habilite para traducción, por favor. Dunen, Dunen. Necesito que me habiliten para traducción, por favor.
We're going to get together on Tuesday. And probably we're going to have our extraordinary sessions like tutoring, but each one of us are going to define it with each group. We're going to meet Angela, Dunan, and myself to define the rules of the drafting, so that we all have that into consideration. What Teacher Carolina had said and what the groups requested. So thank you so much. It was a very enriching sharing session with the group. I think we're moving forward. I'm very trusting, and I know we're going to have a beautiful advance on June 18th, and please count on us. I hope that all the energies of light continue, and those of you who already started to weave, I was giving Latin America 3 recommendations. Take a glass of water, a flower, or a pot, and a candle to have a good energy wherever you are. Create a harmonious space to write, because you do need that. It doesn't matter, it could be a small space, but especially a place where you are harmonized, where you're not worried, but you have the trust that we are not making anything up, that we are doing all of this from the wisdom of grandmothers and grandfathers and Mother Nature, and that we are capable of writing from our feeling, thinking, and our cosmo feeling. Big hug, and we will meet on Tuesday. We will try to have other information before if necessary, and please download the structure from the platform. Thank you so much.